So law is usually uniform, and sometimes it might be a better law if it would be personalized to each and every person according to his own characteristics or preferences. Until maybe 10 years ago, it was completely impossible. Now it becomes more and more feasible, and maybe in 10 years or more we would find more personalized law. So there are many examples, so I can give you one. So the example I would use is from inheritance law, right? So under inheritance law, people could leave a will, and if they don't leave a will, there is intestacy law, which is the default rule. So the default rule says what would happen with the deceased estates if there is no will. So for example, it might say that 50% of the estate would go to the children and 50% would go to the remaining spouse. Now, but there is evidence that there is a difference between men and women when they leave wills. Men leaves much less to the children and more to their spouse than women. Data says that it's about men leaves 40% to the children and women 80%. So it's a huge difference. So the question then is, if this is the case, why not to have two separate default rules or two separate intestacy law, one for men and one for women? And if it could be done with men and women, we could also think about other default rules. Maybe Muslims, Christians, Jews have different preferences about how to leave their estates, and we could even think about very granular default rules that by using big data, maybe one day we would be able to tailor default rules to each and every one of us according to our preferences.